Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Somebody say my name? Whoa! Hello there. How you doing? Welcome to the program. Every time I say program, it's weird how our heads work, right? Every time I say program, I see in my mind's eye the word program, only it's spelled Programme, which is that like the British spelling program? I have not a clue, but it's happened now the last 2 or 3 times. That I don't think I always say welcome to the program. But if I say program, in my head, I see that British spelling. What the hell is that about? I don't know. God. Our minds are fascinating things. Do you feel like yours belongs to you, or do you feel like it's sort of, I don't know, just sort of along for the ride, but has its own reality? I'm serious. I'm not even stoned. Because I know I try often to control mine. Well, it seems like it's a separate entity. And left to its own devices, I would be, bouncing off walls. I don't know. I'm often talking to my mind saying, stop it. Stop it. Please leave me alone. Okay, I have a question. Again, I'm afraid this is going to be one of those shows. I don't know how to define one of those shows, but without a lot of structure. And, just we'll go for it, see what happens. I just have a question. Have you ever, I don't even know how to start this one. All right, I have, I'm sure you do too, like a favorite shirt, sweater, top, anything. If left to your own devices, something that you would literally wear every day. Because it's so comfortable. Obviously, this thing has nothing to do with how it looks. It's just something that you own, that given your druthers, you would wear it incessantly. And the thing about those items of clothing, pants, tops, I'm just going to bottoms, tops, is that because we do wear them much more than we wear other pieces of clothing, the danger, of course, is that we'll wear them out. Literally, stop and think of that phrase, wear them out. By wearing them, you wear them out and consequently lose them. Because at some point, some things totally worn out become, too ratty, even for, I don't know, even to wear around the house. I don't know, they're just falling apart. Well, I have this one. I'm going to call it a sweater. I think it's closest to a sweater. It has a zipped up front. It's this indeterminate color, kind of orange, kind of melony. It's got a hood too. And it is made of probably some petrochemically derived synthetic that is so soft. That is so soft. And I've been wearing it throughout the pandemic. I've worn it literally almost every day for the last 2.5 years. And then I wore it well before that. It's never been beautiful. But I just love it. It's gotten so old now and so misused that for some reason, because you have to wash it more, where the zipper is in the front, it's sort of like misformed now. It's all sort of crunched up. So it really looks awful. It's pilled. It's discolored. It is hideous. I would say I've worn that doing this show maybe 80% of the time. It's one of those things, where you are technically dressed, but you feel like you're in your, most comfortable PJs, if you wear PJs, which I don't. And I'm saying PJs because I'm not sure how to pronounce pajama. Do you say pajamas? And what's the derivation of that? That sounds like a Sanskrit kind of pajama. Where'd that derive from? Okay, welcome to my friggin' head. Anyway, here's the thing. I can't find my sweater. It's disappeared. I don't have a large house. I have ripped apart. There's no way. How does one, I'm thinking somebody so sick of seeing it, so it has to be somebody close to me, has absconded with it. I don't know. Okay, more later. I'm sure you guys don't want to talk about this, but where would it be? It's creeping me out. It's freaking me out. And not only that, I'm in mourning. We have a caller. Hello.
Good morning, Lynn. Ray from Lawrenceville. How are you?
Well, hello, Ray. I believe I alluded to you the other day.
Yeah, yesterday. First of all, I have a hoodie from my wife and our first trip down to spring training. That's more whole than cloth that I can't let go. I don't know. I understand how that feels. Yeah. But yesterday I began so grateful for your kind words when you were describing you're watching that ancestry show and the appreciation of what the Irish have gone through under British rule in the past. And I was really grateful until the last two callers just took all that elation out of me. I want to say first, neither your ex-husband nor I need psychological counseling nor history lessons from Roger. All right.
Okay.
The thing we have with what is that thing we have with the British? Well, genocide, murder, rape, starvation, small matters, right?
I hear you.
I was raised on the knees of women who remember the names of the people who died, who were sent on coffin ships as children, right? And nonetheless,
wait, Ray, what's a coffin ship?
That's what they called. They called those ships during the famine because so many died on the way across the crossing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, children just sent on boats to who knows where, right? Because staying was suicide because of the British rule. The remnants of the penal laws. Look that up one day. The Cromwellian penal laws that were enforced for hundreds of years in Ireland. So I was the thing maybe that gets me. I have many English, British, Welsh, Scottish friends that I watch soccer with at pubs. I don't have a problem with the people, but the government is still there. That royal family. It's a vestige of that oppression is still there. Imagine if Germany still had the Hitler family running it, and you just dismissed it. Well, that's Adolf's been gone a long time. These are different Hitlers. And it would be nice if Roger gave the same advice to Black Americans about getting over. What's their thing about slavery, or the Jews? What's your thing about the Holocaust? And
well, you know what? I think
going on in Ireland. It's still going on.
And I agree. And I want to say this in Roger's defense, that he admitted that he's a white male from the dominant culture, 98%, English, UK, all that stuff. And that he has no familial history.
That's nothing to be proud about.
Victimized. No, but he knows he doesn't know what it is to be raised.
But he gave us advice,
or I was.
But he said maybe if I did this or I looked into this or I'd get over it. It's not over. It hasn't ended. It's still going on.
Right. I totally hear you because I feel the same way.
And Clarence, who I love his calls, but his dismissal of constructs as being meaningless. Well, listen, I don't identify as a Catholic. I am a Catholic. The ontological subjectivity of it doesn't mean it's not true. Okay. The money in your wallet is money subjectively, but it really is money. Okay.
It's just pieces of paper.
No, that's what it's made out of. But is it money? It is money. It's objectively true that it is
to be money.
Subjectively money, right? When you were married, you were married. You didn't identify as married. You actually were married. That's the wonderful thing about civilization and culture. It's something that we don't appreciate, that we are the only animals that create things with words. We create it by agreeing. The speech acts of I hereby, declare you president, or the meeting is adjourned. Things actually happen just by saying them. So I wish Clarence, I understand what he's saying, but just calling it a construct doesn't mean it's not important and it's not real. I am a Catholic. I don't identify as one. And listen, especially this week, we shouldn't be doing this. Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. So.
Oh, right. It is.
In Irish, Lapard Shonadich. Happy Patrick's Day. All right.
Thank you so much. That is such a difficult language. Do you speak it at all?
And it was, yes. And it was stolen from us. My mother's side came from Connemara, speaking Irish.
Oh.
And it was illegal to speak Irish or to sing in Irish by the Brits, who are still there wearing their blood diamonds. Every shilling that family owns was stolen, either from the Irish or the Indians or the Africans or the Americans. They are thieves.
Okay. Did you hear that? Clarence is calling.
Yes, I'll let Clarence respond, but unless he wants to argue with me.
Yeah. Do you want? I'm asking Kevin. Can we have both on at the same time? Okay, Clarence. Hi.
Hi.
You're on.
Hello.
And
hi,
so
Clarence.
is Ray.
Hello, Ray.
Yeah, Clarence, I'm sorry, I've never met you. I enjoy your calls.
I actually enjoy your calls too, Ray. And I think you actually agreed with me while disagreed with me. Where you said we are the only animals that create, with words, our things. And that's but Clarence, I disagree that they're not real. Those are real. They really are. They're real in one sense. Of course, like you said, you use money. And you have to admit that money is a concept. We created it, like we create everything. Because we have the brains and the language to do so. That's all I'm saying is that they're constructs. Like Bitcoin was created as money. They just created it out of thin air, like all money is created. So we can create things as they're real in that sense. They're real as ideas. And that's all I'm saying, that everything is a human construct. That's all I was saying.
Well, that's where I disagree with you. Not everything is a construct. There are, the ontology of tectonic plates doesn't rely on us at all. If there were no humans ever, or if all the humans died, there would still be mountains and molecules. Those things exist not as constructs. The word,
but wouldn't be,
maybe you're saying the word is a construct, but the funny thing about linguistics is the words aren't referential. They really aren't. When I say horse, it's not referring to something. It's more complicated than that.
Oh God, you guys are going to leave me in the dust.
No, but that's why I know that's where what you say I have a weird thing, because when but let's take something like gender, because that's like a big issue.
No, don't take gender. This is Ray.
It doesn't exist.
Ray is not
gender was created for language, and it was misappropriated by the neo-Marxist, post-industrial, or postmodernists. Something other than
so we're agreeing on probably 50% and disagreeing on about 50%. You know what I mean? Like I see what you're saying about like mountains and things. Things that don't pertain to humans aren't constructs. Is that what? Is that right? Basically? Yeah. Okay,
I'm saying that there's the ontology, meaning the way it exists. Some things exist independent of what anybody thinks about them, and other things exist because of the intentionality of human and animal consciousness. Right?
Yeah. And see, and I think that's why although I used the tree as an example, which was I think I admitted yesterday that was terrible, but when it comes to humans. You're of Irish descent, obviously, and but I always tell people it's a landmass where people agree to be Irish. You know what I mean?
That may be, but that doesn't make it invalid.
I'm not making it. It doesn't make it invalid. But all I try to say is, if we could all agree, at least put our humanity first before our identities. Because,
I don't know that they're mutual. Are they mutually exclusive, Clarence? Can I not be, have my humanity and my Irish Catholicness as well?
You can have them. Yes. All I'm saying is that. Yeah, because I can't, to be honest with you, I can't take them away. But I've taken away, which you can't take away from me, all of my identities. If that makes sense. You can call me anything that you wish. You can identify me as anything, but I identify myself as nothing. And you can't take that away.
Well, that in itself is not identifying as something, as a nothing. I don't want to parse, strain at gnats here, but it's just that I do not identify as Catholic any more than I identify as married or identify as male. These are things I am. Some of them are brute biological facts, and some of them are collective intentionality of the society I live in. And I don't find either one less real. Nor should you. No, you're a citizen of the United States. You can renounce that.
I am a citizen of the United States, and I am not an American. I am a citizen, but I am not an American. You know what I mean? Because there's a difference between being something, being a part of something, and being something itself. My body is not an American. But I am American citizen. I know I'm parsing words, but I think that this is from my point of view, it's the only way we get rid of things like war and separation. Is we have to come together and realize what these are. We call them Native, like something like a Native American. You know what I mean? When I say that, you get a picture in your head. But they were here before the country was called America. You see what I'm saying? So those are the kinds of points I made. If you go back far enough, before there was a Great Britain or England, weren't they like Romans before England was created? Wasn't it part of Rome?
No, they were Picts before that.
Okay, yeah. You can go the further you go back before people start carving up these, borders and things.
Okay, you two, listen. I just want to say this is fascinating. It really is. It's got us all thinking, which is a wondrous thing.
Yeah.
And I thank you
You should have me and Ray to lunch one of these days, Lynn.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Okay.
Truly.
Thanks.
Well, listen,
Right.
it was great to talk to everyone. Happy Patrick's Day and
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And down
Happy
with the British
Thursday.
monarchy, right?
And down with the British monarchy. All right. Okay.
I agree with that too, by the way.
Okay. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh. Wow. Love you guys. I mean, that's good stuff. Good stuff. And I'm glad that we were able to do that. That's a good thing. Have everybody on together. That was good. Now, where do you think my orange sweater is? Get to something serious. I'm serious. I mean, literally, I went through every hanger in my closet, like in case it was stuck somewhere. But I thought, I bet it's at the bottom of, my laundry basket. So I did my laundry yesterday. It wasn't at the bottom. It has flat out disappeared. And I don't know how that's possible. Okay. I just wanted to give you a little window into my current predicament. Barbara says she does Cuddle Duds. That's a brand, Cuddle Duds. She says, I buy multiples. Yeah, you see, but the thing is when something becomes this special thing, when you first buy it, you don't know it's going to be. It becomes that thing. You never knew, wow, this is going to be my favorite thing. And no one has ever complimented me on it. No one has ever said, I just love that sweater, or you look so great, or that color is not. I've never gotten a compliment, as a matter of fact, I am quite sure that friends who have seen that thing so often have maybe even said to each other, behind my back, why is she always wearing that ratty old thing? It looks like hell. But I don't know. I needed to get that off my chest. I've done a rant about this many times, and that is how ridiculously complicated everyday objects are. It seems like every time they come up with a new and improved fill in the blank, television, clock, toaster oven, microwave, dishwasher, whatever. You have to go to some special, educational institution to learn. Why do they make it so complicated? My sister is very good at navigating this crap. But even she told me the other day she was visiting friends in California and ended up in one of their showers. And she couldn't figure out how to turn it on. I mean, standing there stark naked in an alien shower, and she's looking at, and she's good at this, and she's looking at this dial thing, and she's saying, and she, because she prides herself on being able to navigate this insane world we've created, she said that she felt humiliated. Well, I don't go that far. I just get pissed. I don't feel humiliated, but she takes pride in that. So of course she would feel humiliated. I just get angry. when I'm at my mother's home, she spends most of her daytime in the small room at the den. And there is not a light fixture in that room that any reasonable person would know how to turn on and off. It's insane. I have fixtures here that I suspect people would say, now how do I get that on? Or why do we do this? Well, we don't. We're sort of acted on because the people who create this stuff, I don't know. I just don't understand why, when something is already complicated, living, just getting through a day, getting through the day, so I don't know. Hang on here. Jonathan wants to know, in regard to the sweater, did you ask Blue, the dog? I wonder if he does know. I don't think he would. Yeah, maybe he hid your sweater to have your scent available. Yeah, but my scent's all over the place. He didn't know. He would not. And he's never, since the first few weeks I got him, he has never harmed any of my clothing. A few shoes went down in the first weeks, but no. Blue. I don't know. Blue, do you know where my orange sweater is? Anyway, I appreciate all your commiseration. We have a caller. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Yes. Hey, does anybody think seriously that Donald Trump's going to spend any time in prison? Do they really believe that? I don't watch those shows much, but they keep acting like, oh, yeah, he gets indicted, so what? Big friggin' deal. I think he's just going to be a free man, and that's it. I'm so sick of watching all the bullshit with it, because I don't see him being in prison. I don't.
No, well, he won't go to prison. He won't go to prison for this hush money porn stuff. But it is conceivable. Look, you cannot take away from me that hope. That hope. Because he belongs in prison. He's been a crook all his life. He has ruined untold people's lives. And he belongs in prison more than probably 50% of the poor souls who are right now in prison. But I hear you, and I know that what you're saying is probably correct. But I am going to hope somehow he ends up in prison.
I don't believe, just by the last election, that he'll be his nominee or DeSantis will. I think the crazy is not going over. It didn't go over here in Pennsylvania. I just think it's gone. That little trick of getting in there worked that first time, and that was it. That's it. You're done. That's what you're going to get as one of these other ones that either just as bad, but Nikki Haley, I don't know, Liz Cheney.
Not a chance. No.
Somebody else is going to be. It's not. I don't know if it's going to be one of those, but it's going to be somebody other than Trump or DeSantis. DeSantis, the things he is doing is just, people are not going to put up with it. I can't imagine nationwide anybody would vote that many people to get him in there.
Right.
He's just crazy. Yeah. He's crazier than Trump. And this guy in Texas, his governor, he's just as crazy. And I don't know why the federal government can't do anything in that state. I mean, they want to take over the school system. It's just, it gets to be ridiculous. I
hear you.
I've never seen anybody shoot their foot so much. I mean, they're doing. Yeah. They're not going to win with all the things they're doing. And this thing with the abortion pill, they are heading down. They're going on a they're going to be surprised.
I think you're right. I do, but I don't.
You're going to crash and burn.
I like running scared, frankly, because complacency, the sense that I agree with you in a general election, Americans are going to push back against the unbelievably autocratic crap that the Republicans are selling. And I do think that they're just painting themselves into a corner in terms of winning in a general election. They really, really are. I know a lot's already been written about DeSantis essentially taking every talking point from Tucker Carlson. Well, right. Fine. So he'll win. They're saying he'll win the Fox News audience. That's not America. And most of America, as you're suggesting, most of us know reality from fiction and know a would-be despot when we see one.
You can't take rights off of people. It's not a winning argument. When it's been in the law for so long, certain
That's
things
right.
you try, you're not going to win. Rights people,
right.
That don't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. That is not a good way to go.
You know what? And stop and think about this. They were shown that they're going down the wrong road in the last election when they thought they were going to, just clean up. And in fact, did not, especially because probably the abortion ruling, as you were just saying. Americans don't like something that's been theirs, just taken away by fiat. Don't like it. So Americans told them, you're going way, way over the edge here. And did they stop? No, they doubled down. Look at McCarthy. Look at the House. Look at, the whole bunch of them. They look like a caravan of crazy and dangerous clowns. America is not going to buy it.
No, they won't.
Okay, so we're in agreement. But I hope Donald Trump goes to prison.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised. Maybe he'll be it. And maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope so too. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Clarence says, sweater, has Sam been around? Is it in a suitcase? I've looked. I thought, did I take it to Green Bay? Have I had it since? I can't. It's unbelievable. No, I do think it'll show up. I do think it'll show up. But where the hell could it be? Anyway, I appreciate all of you now worrying about it. Absolutely. Ellen says, I totally agree that so much has become so complicated. Too complicated. We recently bought a new TV. Our old one died. Now we can't turn the damn thing on. She didn't say damn. And tune directly to our regular channels or cable box without going through umpteen different menus, bypassing streaming services, gaming stuff, etc. Yeah. Hey, welcome to all of our lives, right? Used to be, let's say you were at a friend's house. You could turn on the TV all by yourself. If someone comes to my house and goes for one of the remotes, like they're going to turn on the TV, I literally leap, even with my broken leg, I leap across the room and stop them. Don't touch that remote. Right? When I was just at my mother's house, my brother managed to so screw up my mother's remote in her bedroom that no amount of any kind of, I mean, we worked on that thing forever, only I'm sure making it even more. And then there are the people like my brother who can't figure any of this stuff out, who just keep pushing buttons, push this, push that, and they totally so entangle this thing. So anyway, I'm just saying, this is supposed, you wonder why the people who make these devices don't realize there's a huge consumer group that would be drawn to a really good washing machine, dishwasher, television, you name it, everything that is simple. That is so simple. A nitwit. Can you still say nitwit? The pause there was me going through words that no longer you can say, denoting a person of not much intelligence. Right? Why don't they make? I just don't. My mother's microwave. Oh my God. Her oven. What? Just unbelievable. It's stupid. Okay, what do we got here? Roger says, I was not telling people like Ray to get over it. I just don't know how his passion and anger is helping him or humanity. The British government's not going away, but the monarch is slowly shrinking. Monarchy. It's just not shrinking fast enough. Those are all reasonable points. Don't forget history, but we have choices. Below is a card from Chuck Lorre, who has these at the end of each of his sitcoms. What? It says, this reproduced so small. Let me see it. Okay, I'll read this. From Chuck Lorre Productions. I've been told that if you change your mind, you change the world, or at least the way you experience it. Let's take a moment to examine that. The presumption is, if you thought the world was hostile, ugly, filled with awful people doing awful things, that's what you see. Your mind would naturally seek out confirmation for its preconceived ideas. For example, if you're intent on buying a red car, as you go about your day, you'll see lots of red cars. And now we're changing. If, however, you are able to sincerely change your mind and see that we are all God in drag, that we are the conscious aspects of a perfect universe which had to create us so we could bear witness and stand in awe before its magnificence, then that is the soul-shaking reality you'd be greeted with each and every moment of each and every day. In other words, it is entirely our choice as to what kind of world we live in. With a simple decision, we can suffer in the darkness or play in the light. We can be angry, frightened, and enslaved, or loving, joyous, and free. Well, that's all. Yeah, that's all. That's good stuff. But as I was reading that, you know what I thought of? I thought of someone from my tribe, a Jew in Auschwitz. And I wonder if a Jew in Auschwitz could stand in awe before the magnificence of reality. And that Jew in Auschwitz also knew that it was a lie, that it was entirely his choice or her choice as to what kind of world we live in. So it's always more complicated, right? But I do agree, I agree. There's something very lovely about what you said, because in a regular, for most people, situation, Right. We control how we see the world. We can, we can seek out the beauty, or we can only see, and we all know people who only see the negative. I have a friend who, as she's gotten older, has gotten more and more and more only seeing negative. And you wanna tell her stop it. I have, but she doesn't hear, can't do it. And you know what the future is for somebody like that. To choose regret and anger and bitterness and all those negatives over the possibility that there is beauty, there's good, there's whatever. I don't know. I told you this was going to be a very unusual kind of a show. I could feel it in my bones when I woke up, became conscious, and the first thought I had was, where's my sweater? Where's my sweater? Anyway. Kurt says, you have me thinking of Perry Marshall's shtick. That's for those of you who don't know, and even I'm reminding myself, Perry Marshall was had a radio talk show back in the day, before my time. Maybe we overlapped there for a bit. You have me thinking of Perry Marshall's shtick. He used to, quote, find lost things for listeners, divining them for places they should look, and supposedly with some success. Now, where is he when I need him? Huh. Now, if anyone can do a divination about where the hell my wonderful, ugly, horrible sweater is. And the pants, my favorite pants, which I've worn with them, are really in danger of, I think that the material is getting so thin, I'm going to break through at some point. Oh, I can't bear the thought of it. Anyway, that's what happens. And yet we have closets. Closets. I keep throwing huge bags, out. Well, I don't throw them out. I give them to, charitable institutions. But, and then I start buying more stuff, filling them up, and I still wear pretty much about 10 things. Maybe even less, or fewer. So, Josh, I'm just trying to catch up with your emails here. Listening live today, you mentioned the pronunciation of the word pajama. Pajama. I know where I came from. It was pajamas. We didn't go in for that hoity-toity, pajama. They were pajamas. Once around a campfire, I heard someone sing the Paul Simon song, Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard. The way they pronounced the opening line was hilarious. The mama pajama rolled out of bed and she ran to the police station. What's the real word? And the papa found out and began to shout, and he started an investigation. It's against the law. What mama saw. Okay, I'll stop. Oh, dear. Roger. Like the cast of characters. Hello.
Hey, I don't want to drag this on either, but
no, don't.
I have a question because,
okay.
You mentioned the thing like what I sent in about Chuck Lorre wrote about, you can see the light or you can see the darkness, and it's a choice.
Right.
And
yes.
and what I guess what you're saying is it's easy for some people like me who can state that and ask that question. But I mean, there's people like, when I was in high school, I didn't really know much about the Holocaust until I read Corrie ten Boom's books. And she, now I'm not going to pick her as an example because she is a very bizarre example. She saw the light even of her experience. I was, because I think her family was helping Jews escape and they were caught. And it made her faith stronger. And she is a one-off. I get that. I guess so. But my question is more about me, because I run into this, what Ray was saying, and what you were talking about, the person in Auschwitz, would they see that? And when I have this happen, when I see my daughter and her wife in Brooklyn, they watch shows or read books solely about, the LGBT community. And why would I watch that? There's no gay people in that. And it's like, and I really feel like, don't believe me, I don't want anybody to play the violin for me, but I feel like I have to keep my mouth shut about things because I don't have their experience. I don't have Ray's experience. I don't have your experience. So I'm not saying a poor privileged white guy, but I'm saying, but where is my role in conversations like this? Do I just shut the hell up because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about? Or do I ask questions? Do I comfort? Do I make suggestions? Or it's, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not some poor schlep who buries his head in the sand and thinks the world is great. I understand these things, but I don't have your experience. So where do I enter the conversation? What's my contribution?
Okay, here's what I want to, I don't know. I mean, this is huge, the question you're asking. But I do want to say this. For like your daughter and her wife, when you said all they do is read books about LGBTQ and watch TV about LGBTQ, and, which seems like such a narrowing of their focus when the world is so big. But if you think about the fact that if you are a member of a minority, an underrepresented minority, you have spent your entire life living in a world that has given you a picture of the world from the point of view of a white, heterosexual, Christian male, right? I mean, the movies. You went to a movie, a rom-com, whatever. It was always about a boy and a girl.
Historically speaking,
yes. So I can understand why somebody who never, in their younger years saw their lives represented would now go toward seeing their lives represented, and at some point maybe they will rejoin a larger picture, or feel comfortable with a larger picture. But I don't know I think it's a good time for people who, through no fault of their own, have been in the majority and the powerful majority in this world for so long. I mean, you just got born into it. I think listening more than talking is probably good when these subjects come up. I
would say I listen a lot.
I bet you do. I know you got a good heart, and I know you do. I don't know what to tell you. It's why don't you join the? You're one step away from becoming an aggrieved white guy.
Oh, God. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not.
No, you never would.
That's how
never would.
But asking this question I just asked you, that's how people could perceive me. Poor Roger, he's complaining because he can't have an opinion. And that's not what I'm saying. But I live in a world where, in my daytime life, and I'm in construction, I'm surrounded by white guys. I see the idiots every day. and that's a broad brush, but guess what? It's generally true. In my private life, I'm watching women empowering shows and movies with my wife. I'm watching. I have, my friends down the street when we get together, they're African American, and we talk a lot about complicated things. And so, in that respect, I'm not the majority. But I'm learning about their experience, and I'm commiserating with it. I grew up in a neighborhood where I was the minority, but I still was privileged just because of who I was. I mean, even back then in the 70s, I was.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
I get that,
Roger. You are in a minority. Your minority is white guys of privilege who understand that you're a white guy of privilege. That's a minority. We need to grow that. If that, right? And you're a great ambassador in that regard. You're a great ambassador. And you've got such you've got a big heart and a more than serviceable head, and you're navigating in no one should cast stones at you. Seriously.
I believe it. This sounds like it's awful. I mean, it's just like, I'm just curious how I can, like, let's say I'm with you or your friends. How do I navigate that and contribute to the conversation or ask the right questions, I guess.
Well, I don't know.
And I wasn't trying to offend Ray.
Stop being so, you know what? This is part of what's going on in the world now. You are afraid of saying the wrong thing. And there's so much of that going around. And I decry it. It's outrageous. And that's because people jump on you if you say the wrong thing. You appear not to be sympathetic to the oppressed, representative of the oppressed group you're speaking to. I don't know. It's a minefield out there now. And all of us are trying to navigate it. And it's God help us all.
I mean, is there a statute of limitations? Is there a statute of limitations? Because I told you about my DNA. It's like, it was just a few hundred years ago that I was one of the oppressed. My ancestors were one of the oppressed people in Ireland and Scotland. But we were probably, my ancestry also probably put us as the oppressor too. But I don't feel like, I don't live that. Now, Ray is just a 1 or 2 generations away from that. So how long till he says, okay, I'm not saying.
I don't know. There's no way to say statute. You can't get over it. I feel, and black people, I bet, would agree. It just it's in the blood. It's in the blood. At a certain point, to the trauma.
But on the flip side, black people are still going through the trauma. That sin that started 500 years ago is still prevalent today. I don't think Ray is experiencing that trauma that current African Americans are experiencing now. I mean, it's all relative, right?
It's true.
Probably
Roger, you continue to mull this.
Stoked the fire. I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, just don't worry and stop apologizing. You're doing good.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Sorry.
Goodbye, you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, man. I mean, he's a well-intentioned human. God. Boy. So I was going to talk about this John Weinstein again today, and the fact that the more, and this is why a free press is so important, the local media is starting to look into the candidates for county exec. And man, there's a lot of crap that's being dug up about the front runner, we're told he is. And I sure as hope we educate ourselves about it. I was going. It's way too late to bring it up today, but as you know, as as we get closer to the election, I want to definitely focus on it. And I get the impression that the outgoing exec, Fitzgerald, does not want to see him in the job either. It's just, he represents a kind of patronage, old white guy politics that we need to break free of. We need to get away from. We can't keep perpetuating it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And the only other thing I'm saying is, March Madness starts today. And even it really is some of the best team sports action. Oh, you know what? I was actually thinking of that because when Clarence first started this conversation yesterday and we were talking about, and just the fact that sports teams create, we care, with unbelievable emotion about a team. And so I just think it's so, but it must be very human to want to identify with a team. No matter how much Clarence wants us to just constantly see this bigger common picture of just humanity. But team sports exist because we're drawn to them. I don't know. What am I saying? My head leading me astray. So anyway, I wanted to say that I saw that Governor Shapiro made out his bracket. I haven't done it because I just don't know enough. I'm not going to bother with it. But it's, I think, ridiculous. I mean, was he serious? And he did it in a way that would get him in trouble. He wouldn't have done this before the election. He actually has, I'm looking at his bracket, he has Pitt winning tomorrow against Iowa State. And then facing Xavier and beating Xavier. You're kidding. It could happen. That's what's so wonderful about March Madness. It could happen. And then he's got Pitt in the Sweet 16 after beating Xavier. Pitt. And guess who they'd face, according to the governor? They'd face Penn State in the Sweet 16. It's a possibility. I think a very, very, but here's where I'm saying, I don't know that he would have done this before the election. That Sweet 16 matchup he has of Pitt, Penn State, he has Pitt winning and going to the Elite Eight. You gotta be kidding. And that's the end for them. He has them getting beat then by who? Houston. So anybody's guess, I don't know. But I'm shocked that the governor would, just from it shows how maybe sort of honest he's willing to be or hopeful or I don't know what. But that's got to piss a lot of Penn State people out if they know. And then I looked at Mayor Gainey put out his bracket, and he did something in politics as well. He doesn't have Pitt getting out of the first game Friday. He has them losing in round one. I didn't see what, and he's a mayor. You would think he would have thought, screw the bracket. I gotta have Pitt moving on. And Gainey does not. Shocking, I tell you. Okay. Well, wish me luck. Today I go see the foot surgeon doctor person again. and I'll find out what my prognosis is. And if I can get out of this, if I'm healing, I'm very excited. And if I can get downsized to this custom-made brace they made me. Oh, God. So anyway, can you imagine hoping that you'll be told, well, you'll have to wear this brace? I'm hoping. Enjoy this beautiful day. Yeah. And I'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.